going into this, as you can see, this is regarding a connection between you and another person. This could also have a lot to do with this, picking between your head and your heart. Oh, well, the choice is not really the choice at all. It's more of like acceptance, right? Allowing yourself to feel the way you feel. To let your emotions and let that love for something purge and just be and experience that. For some of you guys, this is a relationship. This is a romantic relationship, and I do feel like you guys went from being single to being in a relationship, being committed in some sort of being something. Something's committed. You've been in a, or you've committed in some sort of way. And, when the Ten of Pentacles comes up, there was definitely that. But I feel like there's also some things here that you're releasing at the same time because you do have death. But I feel like this is also the introduction of a new beginning. I don't think this is not like 100%, releasing things. But I do feel like this is also like, obviously beginning a new life, right? Starting something new with the spaces that was made. Because I think you broke out of your comfort zone. And I think a lot of things happen all at once. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of unexpected shifts and adjustments. And that's causing a lot of things to kind of speed by. And it can be extremely overwhelming because at the same time, you're having to leave the old at the same time you're starting something new. The tower is not going to wait for you to recover. It's like, okay, you guys are done with this. Let's go ahead and start something new. And you're like, wait a second, let me just recover. And they're like, what's recovery? Just go for it. So I think there's a lot of that at the same time. There's a lot of things that you're doing all at once. And I feel like what you guys want is a kind of a period to just stop for a minute, to just kind of like recover and be like, whoo, let me digest this. Because I think you guys have gone through so much in such a short time that, you barely had any moments to just catch your breath. Okay, so amazing energy, but I can understand this, this feeling of like, let me just understand what I just had to go through. Let me just go ahead and surrender to the surrender to the connection, surrender to the perspective that I've obtained, and just let me be, let me take my time with this. But I think the death card is saying that you're going to always have the time to kind of go through this. Death is never a fast energy, but when it's accompanied with the Tower and the Eight of Wands, it makes me wonder. You know what I'm saying? That's just a very fast energy. Now, yeah, it looks like you just went from being single 1 second and then in a relationship the next, ready to commit and get into it. Some of you guys may have been really bored with where you were working or where you were, what you were doing in your life period, right? Some of you guys have kind of kept yourself in a gilded cage here, as the Nine of Pentacles can interpret sometimes. But I do feel like you guys broke free from a comfort zone, right? Because even though this is a card of independence and self-awareness of your dedication and strength, and abilities to execute certain tasks and having routine and structures and healthy boundaries, I think the boundary thing may have gone a little bit too far, right? In the sense of not being able to experience something new, not being able to, see the outside world, and it kept you trapped because honestly, it wasn't living to your fullest potential here, right? You know what you're capable of, but were you living to your fullest potential you felt? Probably not, but now you have the Ten of Pentacles. You complete the situation out. I feel like you left the nest to experience something that honestly got you to the Ten of Pentacles where you're in a better space. When you're in a lovely commitment, when you're in, surrounded by family and friends, when you're in a great community, when you've got a wonderful job, a job that, that gives back, a lot of those things you have to take with, with your own situation, because it may not be everything that I listed there, but some of these things that you're experiencing, you have something new and you're in a better place than you ever were. You know your strength, you know your confidence, you're very stable in yourself, and you're not worried that you won't be able to take care of yourself. You're damn sure you can take care of yourself. But the fact that you're in a relationship now, you can share that abundance with people, you can share that time and happiness with others, you can share in the moment of bliss with other people. That's great. But I do have this feeling that death is also talking about something that you're releasing, and that releasing is the old platform, which is being by yourself and being on your own and doing things solo. Now you got other people to consider. You got other people that are around you, and that is the thing that may be a little bit hard to adjust to, because of course when you're just taking care of yourself, looking over your own shoulder and watching your own back, it is a bit there's less risk, there's less there's less conflict, right? Because it's just you. And I feel like there is a lot of old stigma and old disappointments that you're releasing due to this statement, right? Excuse me, this status, rather. Right? Think about it, right? Like, if you're like, I think there's a lot of harmony and balance right now, and I feel like it's killing a lot of the old perceptions of being in a relationship, right? What that would look like. So, like, a lot of things are changing because of this, relationship. A lot of your views on relationships are changed because of this relationship. A lot of these views on this job or this career is changing because of, you're involved in it, you're interacting in it, and you're doing a lot of awesome stuff with it. You're starting something new. Now, what I love to see here in this reading as well is you have the sun in your future. So that shows that you have clarity and the potential for happiness here. This is a really good card to have. And not just because it's in the future and that's what's being seen, but because it's a projected future. I always say this in all my readings, guys. The future is never the future. And I'm not pulling a card to predict the future here for you, because I don't do predictive reads, nor do I do spy reading. But what I do is pull a future, pull this future card as a projected future, seeing what you think the future will show you, what the future will look like for you. Because we all know where you've been, but this is what you believe your future is, and this is what you believe. That's amazing. That's great. A lot of people you have a lot more hope. You see clarity in your wake, right? You don't see any more blockages. You don't see any more, even if there was blockages and stuff, you're aware of them, and you know that you can overcome them because you have gone through things in your life that have taught you that you have everything that you need to overcome any struggles, any, things that require diligent work and long-term dedication. Like, that you have that, set, that. And with the sun being here in the future like this, it's like, wow, that's amazing. That you see yourself as being able to tackle anything that comes your way, because you're not only stable within yourself, but you have people to back you up. And that's even, I think that's another thing that's you're releasing, right? That you have to do everything solo, that you have to do everything by yourself. You kind of have to, rely on you and no one else. That may be changing now because you are realizing that things can work better in a dynamic rather than solo. That's awesome. So that's opened up plenty of doors. That's opened up a lot of things and a lot of hope and a lot of excitement and a lot of enthusiasm towards your future and the development of that. So it makes sense that you kind of want to just get to a place now where you're just settled and stopped and just able to digest everything and just kind of break for a moment, because everything's just going. You're still moving. You're still hitting it, and you're overwhelmed by this whole situation. I think because I think this is really amazing. All of this course, right? You're happy with it. Things making great progress. Things are changing, but I do think that some of you guys really want to take a break. Now, another interpretation of what I'm getting here, I'm getting hit with another message, is that for some of you guys, there isn't a lot of progress right now. There's a change. There's a lot of drastic changes, and things are moving around and adjusting itself. And this may be that you realize that, of course, you don't have to do something by yourself, but there's still action that needs to be taken. There's still need to, you need to utilize this change energy, this tower energy, to your benefit. And yes, that means releasing a lot of the old beliefs and systems that you have that are standing in your way. And how you do that is by allowing yourself to surrender to a perspective, because the Hangman doesn't just talk about stopping and stagnancy. It talks about surrendering and accepting or seeing something from a different angle. And I feel like this Four of Pentacles you may have to see this in a different angle, especially if this is regarding a relationship, right? So take this opportunity, if you haven't already, to utilize this Eight of Wands energy, to just go with it, do what needs to be done. Take advantage of this changing time at this moment. It's a big change, and you'll be able to, you'll know what you need to do. I think you do already, right? You know what needs to be done, but it's going to take time and effort to do it. And that's why the Page of Pentacles here is here in your outcome. Doing tedious work that may not be exactly enjoyable now, but it's going to help benefit you in the long run, and you know it, because everything here looks like it's a slow building process. You're leaving the old, but beginning something new. But you're putting in roots. You're putting down the foundation for a solid future in the solid future later on. So that will require you to put in the work, but there's something that you need to see differently about the situation in order to utilize the progress to the maximum ability. Okay, so For some of you guys, this also could indicate that there's an offer that you may accept, an offer that you're considering, an offer that you're taking a closer look at, but you're taking a closer look at in very detailed oriented fashion. Totally not a problem. And for some of you guys, you may offer something to someone. You may be offering offering something to this person here, the lovers here that we see here, and you're starting something new in regards to spiritual growth with this person, because this is going to not only develop a relationship between you and them, but develop a strong relationship between you and yourself, because how you interact with them and how they interact with you is going to help you understand you more than you realize. So that said, let me go ahead and pull your messenger oracle, guys. Wow, what an awesome reading. An awesome reading this time around. Okay, that didn't come out clean, so if it's meant to come out, it'll come out. Okay, and you guys have 2 cards here, and you have surrender to the flow. What did I just say? The Hangman was what? It wasn't just about stagnancy, but it was about surrendering to the connection. And it says heed the messengers here as well. We're going to read the affirmations for both. But surrender to the flow. What did I just say? There's a perspective that may need to be looked at differently, or maybe there's a need, there's a change in focus that's needed here. And then heeding the messages is talking about, don't shut down your receptors. So, trust your intuition. Of course, signs, synchronicities, numbers, they all lead, they all help you and guide you towards the direction that you want to take, right? Because you all have desires, you all have dreams. And in order for us to get there, we have to be able to, you have to be open in all areas, emotional, spiritual, physical, mental, So yeah, it's about heeding the messengers, listening to the messages that are being received to you, because they're only meant to help you. So let's go ahead and heed the messengers first. Heed the messenger first, and then we're going to read surrender to the flow, which is just crazy. I keep just saying that, but anyway. It's easy to ignore the messengers and the signs they show you, especially when they bring you a message you do not wish to hear. But now is not the time to ignore the messengers. Do not let your fear of change or discomfort silence their voices. It is time for you to stop procrastinating, to see and to hear the truth, like the Hangman is saying. That's the Hangman. And do what is necessary. Heed the messenger, for the wisdom they offer is born of their own intuition and need. Wow, that is totally the Hangman right there. So I'm interested to see what the what the affirmation for for surrender to the flow is, which we're about to read right now. Through choice and action, you can steer the course of your life. But sometimes a need to control every outcome can have you caught up in a whirlwind. Instead of moving forward, you may move in the direction of your choosing, but it may not be the direction in which you need to journey. Loosen your grip, surrender yourself to the flow, and trust that you will find yourself exactly where you need to be. Hangman and death energy. This is the Hangman and death dynamic, but it's also the Tower in the mix as well. Why do I say that? Because what the surrender to the flow card was indicating here, which I'll show you the cards close. So hopefully I did show you already. But surrender to the flow here, what it's talking about is that they're very dynamic here. Things are changing, possibly in or within or not in your control. But the circumstances is that there is no flow, there's no process, there's no progress being made. And right now, there is this death energy that's attached to this relationship. Now, there may be a certain thing that you may want to do. There may be certain things that you have holding on to, right? They're literally, it's all about releasing some things, right? changing a lot of stuff that's going on in your life. You're transitioning, but the whole that you have going on perhaps is what you want to happen, what you don't want to happen. This this is a big change. So yes, you're leaving behind things and you're letting things go and bringing in a new life. But there's some things that's hard for you to do, which is why you have the Hangman energy here. There's a lot of stuff coming into your life, but in order for that to come, you have to let it flow through. You have to surrender yourself and surrender that perspective, surrender that need to have something a certain way, so you can be happier, so you can have exactly what you want. You're hitting places and points where you could be, you can max out of happiness, right? There's no such thing as maxing out, but a max out of just being good, right? Not even needing anything. But until you get to that, you can't get to that point if you're holding on to things or holding on to certain perspectives or certain ways that things are. And the reason why the Hangman's coming up definitely is because, yes, heeding the messenger. There's messages, there's things that are changing in your life, there's things that are happening, and that's always is pushing you in that direction to change, to adjust, to to swing in the direction that makes sense to you and opens the door for something new. The Sun, this Death card, newness is coming in. But in order for that to happen, you have to release the old, and you're doing that. I feel like a lot of you are totally doing that. But the thing is, it's like saying, keep, just release it. Continue to surrender to it. Surrender to it. Change with it. Go 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 with it. Don't resist it. Because this is for your benefit here. And I don't like telling people what to do. But that is, if you're good with where you are and you don't want to adjust, you don't want to take advantage of this change, don't. By all means, do what you feel like you're led to do. Of course, that if the messenger is saying something different for you instead of this reading here that I'm saying, totally disregard this message. 100%. Don't listen to me. But what I am saying though, if this feels right, and it feels scary, and it feels like you don't have everything that you need to handle this, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling all these things, then maybe this message is for you. But ultimately, guys, you're headed in a direction of great happiness. Lovers, Ten of Pentacles, Sun, all these beautiful things, all these beautiful energies. But there is a bit of a bump that comes through it. But in order for you to smoothly ride the waves, you have to surrender to them instead of fighting the waves and potentially causing yourself to drown. All right? But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I did this with Aquarius too. Because those two cards are so powerful that you feel like you wrapped up the whole doggone reading. And you say so much. There's so much that you get out of these cards. Let me quickly pull these. Oh my goodness. I almost forgot. Let's see what we got for the wisdom of the Oracle cards. Blessed. That is beautiful. And it's saying no matter what situation that you're in, you are blessed, you are loved, you are looked out for, you are seen by the people, seen by the source, by God, by the universe, by your higher self, by spirit. You're seen and definitely loved on. So things are happening in a way that are blessing you in this moment. The messenger, right? The changes, everything's blessing you. Everything's a blessing in itself too. And it's about accepting that blessing right now. And I feel like allowing yourself to be blessed as well is another piece. Because this is a part of your life where all you have to do is just be blessed. Let yourself be happy, but you have to let it go. You have to let go and completely connect, completely just flow with this. Like a river. You don't want to run up the current. You want to ride along that current. And I feel like this is one of those situations, Cancer. I know it's hard to do. I understand that's really hard to do because then you have had control of your situation for a long time. But this is now allowing yourself to completely enjoy all of those things without having to feel like you need to hold on tight to everything else. No, you don't have to hold on to the pinnacle. You can just experience and love and have a wonderful, time and truly live in bliss. And by living in bliss, you accept the blessings first. And that blessings always come from what you're what you're experiencing, what you will experience, and what you have experienced, okay?